When Garcia was barely 16, she first saw the late music icon in 1990 during a performance in Spain. A videotape of her daughter doing belly dance sequences was sent to one of Prince's backup dancers by her mother, Janelle, a huge admirer of the singer. Garcia was recruited by Prince, who was previously engaged to Susanna Melvoin, to dance with his Diamonds and Pearls tour 5 days after he saw the film. She was also allowed to record vocals in both Spanish and English for his CDs because of his affection for her. Prince and Garcia, who was 22 years old then, were married in his hometown of Minneapolis on Valentine's Day 1996, 6 years later. With the assistance of Prince's costume designer, the inspiration for his 1995 hit song, The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, created her wedding gown. I think it evolved through the heavens. I can't pinpoint a time when it became romantic, she said in the Hollywood X's cast profile interview for season 1. I loved being a wife. He's a human person, which is true to what you people believe. Garcia found herself pregnant after 2 months. Garcia gave birth to boy Gregory, the couple's son, in 1996. However, the baby would not survive more than a week after birth due to Pfeiffer disease, a severe genetic condition affecting the hands and feet and the skull. They were both grieved by their son's death. It was rather depressing. Dancer Lindsley Allen, who performed with the 7-time Grammy winner from 1992 to 1997 on the World in a Day tour, tells People, I think he was looking forward to being a father. They had a tough time with it. I don't believe they bounced back. He gave me a fatherly sensation, but he had never truly experienced that. I remember they had a playroom built and a swing set out in the back, the speaker said. Allen reminisced sweetly about their happier days together, saying they had a great love for each other. They enjoyed working together, she said, and they had a sparkle in their eyes. They had a lot of respect for one another in the studio. He admired her for being a stunning dancer and having a kind, sincere heart and spirit. Garcia got pregnant shortly after boy Gregory passed away, but she miscarried. Their marriage would suffer as a result of the deaths of their 2 children. It was very terrifying to lose 2 infants. I started to feel it physically, emotionally, and overall. I still mourn my kid, and it took me at least 15 years to get over it, she subsequently told the Mirror. I think that having a kid die in between you two either strengthens you or doesn't. It was very difficult for me to move on, and I believe it ruined us as a pair. In 1999, Prince and Garcia's marriage was dissolved on their 3rd anniversary, and in 2000 they formally divorced. Divorce was another cultural shock for me. In her VH1 interview, Garcia noted, it was going from this world that I'd been in since I was 16 to standing on the streets of New York and kind of a shock. I turned into a recluse. You become so accustomed to being protected that I was afraid to go outside. Therefore, I didn't go out very much. April 21st, 2016, almost 8 years have passed since Prince's passing. The surprising news was revealed to Prince's first wife, Mayte Garcia, a dancer, actor, novelist, philanthropist, and animal activist, by phone call that day from Manuela Testolini, his second ex-wife, who had become her friend in recent years. Prince started an affair with Testolini while she and Prince were still married, as Garcia disclosed in her engrossingly readable and occasionally genuinely heartbreaking memoir, The Most Beautiful, My Life with Prince, published by Hachette Books in 2017. At the time, she and Prince were still grieving the tragic death of their 6-day-old son, Amir, from a rare genetic disorder called Pfeiffer syndrome, followed by the miscarriage of their second pregnancy. Prince and Testolini Nelson, a former co-worker at his charity organization, a year later in 2001. In 2006, she filed for divorce. Fast forward to today. However, the now 50-year-old Garcia has long since come to terms with the past. She said she's been in a happy relationship with Danish jazz pianist Niels Landauke for over a year. More on that later. She laughs and continues, I have my moments. I think what you put out is what you'll get back because I believe in karma. I'm not flawless. Being Puerto Rican, I have a short fuse, but I just try to live a positive life. Garcia honors Prince's legacy and their complex but enduring love story through The Most Beautiful, which is currently being adapted into a biopic that she hopes will be released in 2025, and the charity Live for Music, which they co-founded in Amir's memory. She already knows the ideal A-list actress to portray her. I just signed off on the rights to my movie for a production company, and now they're in the process of writing it and all that. It's hilarious because Zendaya just released a photo of herself with bangs resembling mine. I can't even count how many people emailed me that image. Though I'm still determining whether she would be interested, I believe she would be an excellent role model for me. Garcia, possibly the person who knew Prince the best, laughs when asked about the actor who would portray one of the greatest rock musicians of all time. Well, they better hire a good casting director. However, they discovered Freddie Mercury with that person, Oscar winner Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody, and that's what performers do. They change and evolve. I thus have confidence that someone will be able to portray him. I'll do everything I can to ensure they cast it correctly, even though I know I'll have to act as the counselor and say, yeah, no. Garcia knows that going back to her history via this film endeavor will sometimes hurt, just like it did when she was writing her book, which she did the year after Prince passed away. I'm unsure whether you heard the audible, but it's heartbreaking. It hurts my stomach, she says. I recall that I cried when I did, but the audiobook engineer said, no, that's not going to happen. It's accurate. That's uncooked. I was terrified it would sound strange. However, it was incredible. I'm eager for the movie to be released. I want it to portray all of it, love and humor, because it's all natural. Garcia said she wanted it to come from a loving place when she initially decided to share her tale, mainly because her ex-husband knew she intended to write an autobiography. I wanted it to be one of the first books out because there would be so many posthumous Prince novels, so that's why I did it so quickly after he died away. I thus wanted it to be exquisite. I kept a journal every time. Anything I wanted to remember, I always saved. I wanted to remember the difficult and wonderful times so that I could look back and exclaim, wow, I made it. The section of Garcia and Prince's epic but tragic love story that may have caused her to cry in the Audible studio was perhaps the most upsetting. The portion where the whole truth about her pregnancy and Amir's death had never been revealed until the book was released. In an odd attempt to maintain the illusion that their son was still alive, even showing Winfrey around the abandoned nursery on the estate, Garcia and Prince sat down for an exclusive interview with Oprah Winfrey at their storied Minneapolis home, Paisley Park, after Amir passed away in 1996. They also avoided answering questions regarding their son's purported health problems. To film a pregnancy-themed music video for Betcha By Golly Wow, Prince also persuaded Garcia to return to the hospital where Amir was born. Garcia emphasizes that in 1996 it was virtually unheard of, if not taboo, to openly discuss baby loss in the media, and Chrissy Teigen and John Legend did following the 2020 death of their son Jack. It's a novel for celebrities to reveal this much of their personal lives. Garcia says, our generation was still all about keeping it together. I wanted to please Prince since we had an interview with her that was already set to promote the next album, Emancipation, at the time. In reality, however, we were considering bringing Amir back. I thought, we're gonna bring him back. I did it for that reason. Naturally, I'm unable to speak to Prince. Even though he was in pain, he continued working. In addition to giving Garcia serenity, she believes that being able to write and speak about Amir and memorialize him via her charitable work has comforted other bereaved spouses. I knew that if I had seen something like that when I was going through it, it would have given me a little more strength, maybe one less tear. Just help me heal better and faster, the woman says. I was hoping The Most Beautiful would help people who have lost children or who have miscarried. I've since learned that Prince's experiences has made people adore him even more. After the book came out, I received many emails and letters from people saying, thank you so much for sharing this. And then these kind individuals would share their tales with me. Instead of simply holding it within and not dealing with it, I believe people are now more willing to share and discuss it. Regarding the counsel Garcia would provide other couples grieving a pregnancy or infant loss, she adds, I would say take a minute. Garcia adopted Gia in 2013 after Gia's struggling young biological mother saw her on the reality program Hollywood Exes and reached out. You must endure the suffering. You must live in it, regardless of how many books you read. Naturally, please make an effort to surround yourself with individuals you can trust so that they'll be there for you. I speak about depression a lot, and I say acquire something that you have to take care of. As Garcia disclosed in her memoir, she thought about killing herself in the weeks after Amir's death. It might require getting out of bed, such as a plant, pet, or hamster, because I never would have gotten out of bed if it hadn't been for my dogs. Additionally, since it gets lost in your sadness, make a serious effort to speak with the other person. You absorb it after that and stop remembering that you're even in a relationship. What finally caused Garcia and Prince to break up was likely their lack of communication as newlyweds after the Amir tragedy. According to what Garcia revealed in her book, Prince finally gave the order for an aide to burn everything that served as a reminder of Garcia and their late kid, as if he was incapable of processing his grief. She was even startled to learn at the time that Amir's ashes had been burnt. Fortunately, however, it proved to be incorrect. Amir's ashes were ultimately discovered only 2 years ago by her close friend Kirk Johnson, a member of the New Power generation, who was also Mayte's best man at her wedding and gave Prince her belly dancing moves. Garcia then picked up Amir's ashes in person in Minneapolis. At her Las Vegas home, she keeps the ashes very, very close. They returned them to me. Garcia's amazed. She had greater closure about her connection with her ex, with whom she was on good terms at the time of his death, thanks to this quite dramatic event. That was just another example of my saying to myself, you know what? There is love. It's constant, she emphasizes. I see some separated couples and I think, whoa, these people despise one another. That's absurd. But that was never the case with us. Yes, as it was occurring, I was really sad. From the start, it was quite clear with Prince that I didn't want to be that divorced person. He said, neither do I, to my statement that I didn't want to be my parents, but the awful thing occurred. After the breakup, Garcia says it was definitely hard for her to find her own identity since she had met her first love, a guy 15 years her senior at such a young age. She describes Paisley Park as my life. She explains, I had to learn to be an adult. I'm considering writing another book and delving into that. However, I don't believe that being in a relationship should define you. My work should be able to speak for itself. Furthermore, I don't want to take anything away from Prince since I wouldn't be here if it weren't for him. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this. Following the dissolution of her marriage, Garcia concentrated on reviving her career in show business and dated here and there, most famously spending 2 years in a short engagement with Tommy Lee of Motley Crue, who was also getting over his public divorce from pop culture icon Pamela Anderson. When it came time to finding true love again, Garcia totally thought that ship had sailed. She even said as much in The Most Beautiful, presumably because she wasn't over Prince then. I recall thinking, well, I've already lost my greatest love at that point. I'll be content with who I am, Garcia shrugs. And I didn't mind at all. I focused on improving myself. I developed my candle making skills, and guess what? I'm a decent candle maker. I just decided to tackle my passions, such as learning to plant, and succeeded. I attended courses. I urge ladies to just focus on themselves. That's the finest method, as corny as it may seem. Garcia acknowledges that her relationship with Prince will always be one of my top, but she also says that she can't stop living. She recently discovered unexpected love again with Landoki. That history is who I am, and you've got to find somebody that loves you for what you are, she said. She first got to know the jazz musician when she and her friends traveled to his home country of Denmark to attend a significant yearly rose festival. There, the country's princess and current queen, Garcia, blessed a brand new rose named, you guessed it, the Most Beautiful. Garcia was the one who had inspired the flower, and love soon began to bloom. I didn't look, Garcia laughs. Yes, you discover love when you least expect it and when you're not looking. I admit that I rolled my eyes at individuals who claim such things. The problem with me was that I knew what I'd had with Prince, so even if I didn't rediscover it, I would still be okay. I attempted to make lovely things with my friends and family, which was beautiful. I was fortunate to have Landoki. However, I thought, you know what? If he shows up, I'm okay. If not, he doesn't. Dating Landoki, according to Garcia, is completely different from her crazy late-night excursions with her well-known ex-husband. I love that you just do the show and go to dinner, no after-parties. She also loves that her present partner isn't put off by her past romance with one of the most well-known men in history, unlike many other possible suitors. A lot of insecurity exists, which is terrible, but you know what? That's their path. Not that I flaunted it, but it is what it is. My background has shaped who I am. Finding someone who's confident, supportive, and an admirer of what I do is pleasant. He's 60 years old, a great musician, and highly courteous. Everything is related to maturity. In addition to her forthcoming biography, fulfilling relationship, and loving role as Gia's mother, Garcia is also concentrating on Live for Music's music education initiative, which aims to provide gifted children with access to advanced music instruction. The transformative program, which features one-on-one private lessons and various ensemble workshops, masterclasses, clinics, lectures, and demonstrations with seasoned entertainers and educators, some of whom are musicians who have previously worked with Prince himself, is open to rising stars until May 31st. Garcia, who started dancing as a baby and was performing professionally by the time she was a preteen, says, "If I could have had the chance when I was a kid to have Debbie Allen teach me via Zoom, I would have fainted of the program they'll be undertaking. Just to even have 30 minutes to get some insight would have been amazing." So that's what we want to do with Live for Music. We have some amazing teachers, musicians, professionals, and Grammy-winning people who are willing to teach these children, to help them make them believe in themselves and give them hope. And I'm so excited about that. If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon